Welcome back to Ox Tools. I'm Tom. So we're working on the we're going to work on this Wabble spider today, and there's a bunch of machine work on this piece here to get it mounted to the output gear. So I showed these in the other video. These are some steel burnouts that I had done by Knoll Steel out in Antioch. So we're going to smack a bore in this, turn the OD. There's some hand work to do on some of these edges. There's a fair amount of work in this piece here. So let's get an apron on. Let's probably head to the lathe first and do a little bit of lathe work. Then we got some mill work, and let's start up. Let's get going. Okay, so we got this thing up in here. And I had to reverse the jaws to hold this. This thing's almost 12 inches in diameter. What is this? 290 millimeters. It's 11 1/4, something like that. So we're going to bore this and establish a central bore, and then we'll come back and do this OD after the fact. So let's roll with that. Wrong gear there, Mr. Wizard. That would have been too fast. Okay. All right, break some edges and go from there. Okay, so we're going to set this guy up next because we're going to use this as a piece of tooling to turn the OD of the spider that we just worked on. So, you know, and I've said this before, if I'm given a choice, I like to set things up, you know, with some kind of orientation, even though there might not be one apparent when you start. Sure as you know what, you want to get back somewhere sometime. I'm just using a couple of gauge pins here, And we'll just pin these down for a second here, like that. And I think when I first looked at this, I need to move the ram back just a whisker so I can catch a hole back in that area. So should be fine there. Okay, lock that down. I did that one time. I forgot to lock the ram, and I was like, geez, why is my cut tapering, you know? Anyway, okay, so now what I want to do is, I don't have a good surface to pick up on the inside. It's just this flame cut surface. So what I want to do is pick up on this turned edge. So I'll get these clamps out of my way, and I'm just gonna pop this down with the mini pallet clamps here. And I don't need to hold much. It's just got to hold it for a few minutes here while I do this. Okay, so now we can take these off, and now I can sweep all the way around this thing here. So let's do the eyeball centric here. See how we do. Side to side. A little bit that way. Okay. All right. Put this on. And then what I'm going to do, and you guys have seen this before, I'm just going to get close here to start with. And I'm just using that as just kind of a witness thing. Oh yeah, I'm a mile off. Okay. Half of that. Half of that. Half of that. All right, let's get a little closer now. Do a little more quick sweep. Check. And it's, you know, I've said this before, it's pretty surprising how close you can get. All right, that looks pretty good now. All right, so let's get the indicator on there. And once you got one direction, it's pretty easy. You can catch the third quadrant pretty easy. Good. 22 thousandths and 6 thousandths. So let's double check. Actually, let me go to 0 there. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty damn close. Okay. All right. So now we can drill our bolt pattern. Now I'm going to be drilling a pretty good sized hole, so I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more clamps on here, just for chicken clamps, right? Okay, so let me get my drawing, and we'll drill and tap some holes in that thing. Now, I'm not going hog wild here. I'm being pretty conservative with the drill pressure and whatnot. Anything I don't want to screw up. You know? At this point, it's a long way back for this part. And I'm using a Jacob's chuck here because I'm tapping I'm tapping half 13, which takes a little bit of pressure to turn it. So these Jacob's chucks they grab a little bit better than the keyless chucks do. And I'm just measuring that countersink diameter so that I know I got the right depth. Alright. Okay, do you see? Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but it slipped a little bit on the tap. So that's when you want to reverse. Don't really go any farther than that. You're not going to do any good. And then this is a spiral flute or spiral point tap, so it pushes the chips ahead of it in a little ball. Ideally, these are for through holes, but so what it does is it packs all those chips at the bottom of the hole, and will get you into trouble if you try to push the envelope there. Alright, one more hole. Alright, so here's an interesting little alignment problem. So what I want to do is I want to put that same 5-hole pattern in this, but I want it to end up at the ends of these spokes here. I want the holes to end up at the end of the spokes. There's the, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. So I got to start, I want to start in the middle of all this meat up here, right? But I can clock it a bunch of different ways. So what I really want to do is just kind of, I want to line up on a line that goes through this center line and, excuse me, and is in the middle of that. So how do I do that, right? Well, you know, if I cock it over like this and I pick up on there and I come over here. So I need to be on the center of this and the center of this at the same time. So how to do that? Well, I thought about it for a minute off camera, and I got an idea. And so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to use some of this paint pen here, just so I have I can scratch a mark in there. This mill scale is actually very hard to scribe through. Actually, you know what? I'm going to clean that off and redo that. Denatured on that. Clean that off. Okay, now let's try that again. You know, it takes a carbide scriber to really get through it. Alright, so the hole's going to be somewhere in that region. Let's let that dry for a sec. This stuff, this is one of these little bright marks. These are actually pretty good for nice little paint markers for writing on stuff. Somebody sent me some of those. Okay, so now I've got, these are hermaphrodite calipers, and you see one leg is not sharp and it's a little longer than the other. So that allows me to probe one side and probe the other. So what I'm going to do is kind of find the middle of that meat there, like that. And excuse my arm, guys. Okay, so what that does, and hopefully, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but I have a little intersection now, okay? And then what I can do with that intersection is pull a center line off of it like that, And this only has one orientation, and this is going through the center. So there, I'm lined up on it. And I can see that ruler's crooked. And what I can do now, this is one of those multi-step alignments here. So what I can do is just kind of come along this. Alright, so there I'm on it. Okay, and I'm drifting off. So what that means to me is I need to turn it this way just a whisker. Let's go back. So it kind of rinse and repeat. Do that a couple of times until I track along that straight edge nicely. Okay, it's not there yet. Alright. And double check that I don't lose my my mark there. Okay. Alright, that's starting to look pretty good there. Oop, shit. You see that? The ruler bonked into that, so let's do this. Slide up a little bit farther. Get back on my mark there. Okay. Alright. One more time. Alright. So now, you know, you could indicate along this too if you wanted to get wacky. Alright, that's pretty good. So I'm just going to turn it just the tiniest bit more. Pull it from this side. Okay. Now I'm pretty happy with that. So now let's pinch some of these down here. Double check. Yeah, I'm still on my mark there. Okay, so now I'm kind of secure. So now what I can do is when I pick up the center of this with an indicator, then I know that hole is going to be on that line, or it's on that line. Okay, so a little extra effort, and we get a good pickup there of the middle of the meat. Okay. For 130, right? 130 and 30. Alright. So we're using a 90-degree spotting drill here. These are superior than center drills. They have a proper drill geometry to them, and so they actually cut better than traditional center drills. So this is I'm going to use button head screws in there so that they have that kind of rounded rivet look to them when the thing's installed. So, okay, one more and then this comes off the machine. Okay, so we're going to we're going to change these jaws around so we can grab on the OD in these little steps here. And somebody pointed out, and quite correctly, that with a 6 jaw it takes you twice as long to flip the jaws around. But and that's true. With these master jaws, it takes a little bit of time to flip them around. But I got this this new impact gun here, and this thing kind of makes short work of it. So now I just flip it, and it's really easy to swap the direction there. I can do this without bozoing it there. So that's not too bad, right? You just can't lose track of any of the fasteners. This thing's pretty snappy, actually, so and this one, because you can get at it, you can use a regular kind of impact on it. You don't have to use a right angle like you do in the mill. But make sure there's no skin in between anything. Leave a blood blister that wouldn't quit. Oop. It still works. Okay, yeah, that wasn't too bad. And it's nice and big right now, so I'll get the other piece and or get the part we're going to put in there, and we'll get it centered up. All right. It's not exactly light, but let's give it a little, really want, let me see, get it there. Alrighty. Actually, looks pretty good. It's not I just want to turn the OD of this. It's got mill scale on it that I want to get off, and I want it to be the same diameter as this here. So basically what I'm going to do is just turn a little off of this OD to match that, and then I'll radius this corner here with a corner rounding tool. So this is going to be pretty slow here, so I don't know, what is that, 12-inch diameter? Let's say 160 RPM, something like that. Let's see what that looks like. Probably a little slow. About 285. Let's see. Yeah, it's too fast. 200? Try all the speeds here. Grind me up. Alright, there we go. Like that. Okay. Alright, so let's get I move my turning tool around. So let me reset that, and then we'll turn the OD of that and around that corner. Okay, so we got to move the tool post around a little bit because I can't quite come out far enough. So let's swivel that monkey around. Normally I kind of keep this set, and I usually try to adjust the tools in the tool blocks to accommodate any issues. That way I can maintain tool calibrations for long periods of time. But you know, it's here to be moved, so it's not the end of the world if you got to move it. You know, you just that's just kind of how I was taught. You just kind of leave it square with the world if you can, and not a hard rule by any means here. All right, make sure we got some backup room there. Okay. All right, so should get us in the area there. Okay, I give it a safety spin here. Make sure everything's clear. Oops. Is that the right one? 160. Yeah, let's see. This is too fast there, but. Alright, let's give it a try and see how it cooperates. You take a real light pass first since it's a rough surface. And you know, we don't know where the high spots are, so generally a good idea to be conservative on at least the first pass. Probably get a measurement now. See where we are. Put it in neutral here. So I think I have enough. I have cut surface opposite each other here so I can get a measurement. And this isn't a super precision or anything, it's just to match the diameters there. Alright, that's kind of nice. It's on an 11-inch 400 thousandths. Okay. And then we'll set the 11.4. Okay. All right. So we'll turn some off of the OD of this, and then we'll set up a corner radius tool. Okay, so we got the OD turn now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a corner radius bit here, and we're going to come in like that and round that corner off. But here's a little problem. Doink. So I got to hold it a different way. I wanted to turn this whole surface, so I mounted it to the output gear here. But for this, I need to hold it back here and have that out of my way, and so that I can come up and make that radius. Actually, and the other thing I want to see before I get crazy here, it's my little impact gun, and we'll take that out of there. The screw I want to use is actually a button head, so this might be too big of a radius here, because that will actually be intruding into where this screw wants to sit here. Okay, so I think I'm gonna back off on this radius. I'm gonna go to a smaller radius. You can always increase it, right? It's really hard to put it back. So maybe I'm okay with a smaller radius tool. Let me go find a smaller radius tool. Well, turns out that with the smaller tool, I don't have to remount it. It's pretty close, but it all kind of works. Now there's a little bit of run out on this face, so I gotta be a little bit careful. Yeah, actually, there's a lot of run out on this face. What do I want to do with that? I don't want to gouge into that, so well, let's just take a little off and see what it looks like here. And this particular tool is carbide, so that's kind of helpful too. I can run it. I don't know, it's not much of a radius. It's not doing much for me, boys. Probably should have, what's that? Oh. Yeah, see, it's not cutting all the way around here. So there it's heavy, and then there it's non-existent. So I probably have to do that by hand to make it look good. So, okay, all right, well, I deburred it at least. So, I don't know. This side's machined, so I don't really want to, I suppose I could face that, but that's a lot to face off. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to do that by hand. I'll do the radius by hand. That way the Z positions of this burned out plate don't play a part in that. So I'm just going to do that by hand. This is what we call, in SolidWorks, this is what we call a continual variable fillet. Or a continuous variable fillet, something like that.